And I guess in that way, Dora is a little bit like Mean Girls for 2020. Also a weird thing to say. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode of the Everyman Movie Review. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Isabela Merced, formerly Isabela Yolanda Moner. Now, the last time I had seen Isabela Merced was in Sicario 2. I do also remember her from one of the Transformers movies, and in both of those, she was kind of a secondary character. She was helping to drive the plot by her existence, but she certainly wasn't pushing the plot forward as her. And this week we're going to be talking about Dora and the Lost City of Gold, and that has been turned completely around. Also, she was very much a child in the other films that I've seen her in, and in this, she is playing a child, but she very much has the grown-up attitude and the way that she is treating the craft of acting, I think. But before we get too far into the movie, let's get through the pleasantry, shall we? Dora and the Lost City of Gold, hereby after Dora and or Dora the Explorer, was directed by James Bobbin. It was written by Nicholas Stoller and Matthew Robinson, and based on a story by Tom Wheeler and Nicholas Stoller. And of course, it is based on the series Dora the Explorer, which is written by Chris Gifford, Valerie Walsh, and Eric Weiner. It is starring Isabela Merced as Dora, Eva Longoria as Elena, Michael Pena as Cole, Joey Vieira as Nico, Jeff Wahlberg as Diego, Madeline Madden as Sammy, Nicholas Coombe as Randy, and Eugenio Derbez as Alejandro. So the movie is called Dora and the Lost City of Gold. It is not Dora the Explorer, and that's very important. We open the movie on Dora and Diego when they are younger, 6 years old, and we see them kind of on an adventure, much like Dora the Explorer, the cartoon, which you've probably seen with kids or just, I guess, in the zeitgeist. But at the end of their adventure, it kind of wraps, and then we see Elena and Cole breaking up this fantasy of Dora the Explorer and her crazy adventures. And we see that Dora is a young child, and so is Diego. And unfortunately, it is the day that Diego is moving away to the big city. And for some reason, moving to the city is going from somewhere in Central and South America to Los Angeles. And there's very little explanation about that. But, I always say for a movie, you got to give them one. And I'll give you one, that the world is less complex in the world of Dora. Well, next we see Dora. She has grown up a lot. She is now a high schooler. And her parents are about to go look for the lost city of Parapata, which is basically their life's goal. They have been getting together the research to figure out where it is and go look for it. But Dora is just a little too young to actually go on this adventure with them, to go explore. But we see Dora at this age, and boy, she really knows her way around a jungle. She can run around with animals, she can swing from vines, she can basically make her way on her own. But nonetheless, the parents don't know that. What they see is their child who they need to protect. So they sent her to see her cousin Diego in the city, which again is LA. So Dora, a child who has only lived in the jungle really her entire life, moves to the tough streets of LA and then has to incorporate herself in a high school. And from that, we kind of start on a little bit of a Mean Girls adventure. And I guess in that way, Dora is a little bit like Mean Girls for 2020. Also a weird thing to say. But Dora sticks out like a sore thumb, and unlike Lindsay Lohan's character from Mean Girls, she doesn't mind it. She is her own person, and she doesn't care what anybody thinks, which I think is a great lesson for kids. Like, who cares? Do what you want to do. And she may not recognize how weird she is and how weird the things she does are, but she does kind of get a group of friends around her. I find that strong personalities attract support and friends no matter what. And Dora's got a strong personality. On a trip to a museum, she gets put together with a group of misfits that have kind of become her friends, except for one, who is the hated know-it-all from the school and most of their classes. And Dora, being an explorer, wanders to a closed-off part of the museum so that they can win this scavenger hunt that they're doing as part of the museum visit. And a side note, I always hated when teachers had to do these, like, do a scavenger hunt at the museum, like, find the oldest thing. I'm going to describe this thing and you have to find it and guess which one. I love museums, and if these other dumb kids don't like museums, let them wander around for 3 hours, like picking their nose or sitting and eating lunch or whatever they want to do. Let me go just enjoy this museum the way that I want to, and stop trying to make it like a lesson. And a lot of those teachers, I love teachers, and you guys do God's work, and I'm super thankful for you, but not every teacher is that way. And especially when I was growing up, a lot of teachers were just like, biding time to retirement. And they didn't really invest in anything. And it was like movie day in class. Going to a museum was, I don't want to deal with these kids. Here, go off on your scavenger hunt. And I was not that kid. I want to do my own thing, kind of like Dora, but not so much in the get in trouble, because also I was afraid of getting punished from my parents. So I would have just wanted to wander around a museum and learn new things on my own, not being guided by some dumb scavenger hunt. Anyway, so the scavenger hunt ends up taking them to not a lost part, but a closed part of the museum where she ends up getting kidnapped. And because she is there with her little crew of 4, they all get kidnapped and put in a box and shipped somewhere. And then some time passes, ? They are all in this regulated box, but somehow they survive a flight, clearly, somewhere. The only passage of time we know is because Sammy has to use the bathroom at the museum, and she still has to when they get to the jungle. So it can't have been that long, right? But they used some gas to knock them out, so I guess they could have slept for a day. I don't know. Again, we're not going to question the city and the jungle and the time. We'll just let that one go. But Dora realizes quickly that her parents must have gone missing, or that someone is trying to find them and they're using Dora to do it. And that's when Alejandro pops in. Alejandro, a friend of her parents, is basically trying to figure out how he can find her parents, who are in fact lost, and they're looking for Parapata. And he just assumes Dora would be the easiest way to figure out the puzzles that they left behind. He sees her gets kidnapped, he follows them, he sees them at the box, and he rescues them. And now off they go on an adventure to try and find Dora's parents. And of course, there are 3 city kids. Diego used to be in the jungle, but's forgotten everything. And the other kids have never been to the jungle. So Dora is back in her element, and she gets to be the leader of this ragtag troop. And even though there is an adult present, Alejandro, she kind of makes him look foolish all the time, because clearly she's better at everything. And some hijinks happen. There is a whole situation about the bathroom. Again, Sammy's got to use the bathroom, and she's had to for a while. And Dora sings her a song, which auspiciously is probably a song that a parent would sing to a kid about like learning how to dig a hole to use as a bathroom and then fill it. But it's very Dora the Explorer-esque in the way that she has songs. I will say, cutting back to the beginning, there's like a couple of moments where they make fun of themselves being Dora the Explorer, because Dora, as a child, is like talking to no one and just saying, Parapata, can you say Parapata? And then the camera turns and there's just no one there. And Michael Pena, as Cole, is like looking, and he's like, looks at her and he looks at his wife and he's like, I don't know. And then she's like, Parapata, that's right. And he's like, Parapata. And so he like, for a moment, takes on the role of the kids who are watching through the TV that doesn't exist, because Dora's doing a show for no one. Anyway, so after that, they really drop the shtick, and it's not so Dora the Explorer-y. This moment where she's digging a hole is a little bit like that. It's the sing-along thing, but it's the last moment that we really deal with that through the rest of the movie. After that, it kind of stands on its own as a thing different from Dora the Explorer. And that is about all I can talk about without giving too much away. So we're going to cut to a quick spoiler section, and then we'll bring everyone back in, and I'll wrap up the review with my final thoughts and whether or not you should see it and maybe spend your time watching it. So if you want to skip the spoilers, do so now. The time is down below, but go, because the spoilers are about to start right now. Okay, so I had to put this in the spoiler section just because it's a spoiler, but Alejandro, oh my gosh. Eugenio Derbez is an amazing actor. I've seen him in several things. Dating someone who is Hispanic and hanging around with more Hispanic people has opened my eyes to actors that are amazing, and I don't know why they're not more famous in the US. He's done a couple of US movies, and they haven't really gotten there, but I've seen them, and I just think he's a fantastic actor. And the way that he plays the entire portion of the second act of that movie and doesn't reveal that, oh, here's the spoiler, he's the bad guy and he lied to them and he's using Dora to find, and all of the people who look like they're trying to like hurt and hunt them are actually his people. Like, the way that they hid that was so well done. Bravo. Bravo. And there's this like scary old lady, and Alejandro, is telling Dora about the keepers of Parapata and how they are mystical and they've existed for thousands of years and they kill anyone who comes there. But the truth is, they kill treasure hunters and they want to spread the knowledge that they had. They just don't want anyone to come just for the treasure. So Alejandro uses the fear of these people and the creepy old lady who lives out in the middle of nowhere, who turns out to be the queen. I didn't see that one coming either, so you got me on that one. But the team splits up, and the LA kids are gonna go home, and Dora's gonna go find her parents, and then we get the big reveal that Alejandro's not a friend of her dad's. Who is he? Oh, he's a bad guy too. And then the Guardians of Parapata come out, and throughout the whole movie, they are kind of making fun of the fact that Dora is outsmarting this grown man. And then he makes fun of the fact that when you think you were outsmarting me, I was outsmarting you. And in the meantime, she's actually outsmarting him because she's still thinking ahead. And it was a bit much, but for what it's worth, the getting into the temple. So Dora is great for kids, and I know my nephew loves Dora the Explorer. But I wouldn't want to sit through a Dora movie. I would feel the same way about that as I did about watching Tangled 3,000 times, as I've mentioned in a previous episode. This is a half step forward where I think my nephew would still enjoy it and it would keep his attention. Might be a little too complex for him right now, but in a few years it'll be perfect. But I can still watch this movie and enjoy it. And it's hit that magic spot. The spot where Shrek is, where there's jokes that are hidden and they're only for adults, and you can look at the other adults in the room and be like, what he's saying? But the kids don't understand what they're saying. And then most of the plot is so easy to follow and it's with a character that they love, IP being what it is and so important, that I think the kids would go along with it as well. So that whole twisting and Alejandro's the bad guy, I can't say for sure that a kid would not predict that from the beginning, but I didn't, coming in with my point of view. And just watching Dora figure out the puzzles to get into the temple, and then the final question at the temple, and she actually outsmarts Alejandro and the whole nine, it was really well done. And the fact that she actually figures out how to save the city, and that all her parents wanted to do was to find this lost thing so that there are no more lost things, and we can study all of the lost things. And it's wrapped up so very neatly in a bow, and especially at the very end where Dora decides, it's one thing to be an explorer in the jungle, but she needs to go and explore life and go find out what these kids are all about and what life at a high school is about. That's her next great adventure. And then going back, and I know that they're setting it up for a franchise, and I'm okay with that. I probably won't watch the next one because I know what the recipe is now. But there will come a time when I want to watch something with my nephew, and I want it to be something that I know he'll enjoy and is safe for him, but something that I'm not going to just want to claw my eyes out the whole time. No Paw Patrol, please. No Bob the Builder. I can't. And I think that this franchise of Dora movies, if it turns into a franchise, will be exactly that. It's Shrek for this generation. Something that adults can enjoy and not want to just fall asleep during, but also be entertaining for kids. And that's pretty amazing. But we're at the end of the movie, and that means we're also at the end of the spoilers, so let's bring everybody back in, and we'll wrap up this review, including my thoughts right now. One of the things that really upsets me about Hollywood these days is the drive for IP, and I'm an original screenwriter, so I don't own any IP, and I just write things that I like, and I'm hoping that somebody will like them too. And I think that this is good and bad in a way. You're driving the IP by saying Dora is a good movie and people should watch it, and that's not necessarily great, but at the same time, it's so hard to write something that's good for kids and also good for adults. So maybe it's a wash as far as that's concerned. And as I said, it is safe for kids, so there are really nothing to worry about in this whole thing. There is a moment where they get trapped in quicksand and Dora gets them out, and if Alejandro had listened to them, he would have gotten out too, but he doesn't die, he's saved. No one ever really dies, and in fact, now I'm not going to bring that up because it would be spoiled for the end, but let's just say no one actually really dies. So there's not that hard part that sometimes you have to get to with a kid's movie even, where you're like, nope, mom's not coming back. Bambi's mom gone from this movie. Let's just focus on Bambi from here on out, okay? Cool. But anyway, Dora's not going to win any awards, but it is going to be there. It's going to be a great movie to have. ready to go in the catalog for when you want to watch something and your kids want to watch something, or your nephews and nieces, or just some kids you're babysitting. I don't know. When there's kids around and you want to watch something that is not terrible for you, but also safe and good for them, Dora is going to be perfect for that. It's got a 102-minute runtime, so it's a little longer than an hour and a half, but honestly, it's really fast-paced. Things are happening the whole time, and when something is directed at kids, it really has to be that. There are no moments to just kind of like stop and drag and dull out, or you lose them. So I don't know that if you're not doing a movie review and you don't have kids, that you're necessarily going to want to watch this offhand, but it's an absolutely adorable movie. And if you want to kind of relive that magic that you felt with Shrek, where like, it's a cute kids movie, but it's got that underlying level that an adult can really enjoy, then I think this is a good movie for that. And I also think it's a movie for kind of everyone, no matter whether you like action or, romance or thrillers, or this is kind of a kid's version of all of those. Dora is the kids bop of gangster rap and EDM and hard rock. How they used to make those kids versions of the song. Dora is that for a lot of different kind of movies. So when you're like, we can't really agree on any one thing to watch, this is a movie that is great for, I think, everyone to watch, because it is kind of like not too much of a thriller for people who don't like thrillers, and not too much of a detective story for people who don't like that, not too much of an adventure story for people who don't like that, not too much of a mystery for people who don't like that. It's kind of middle of the road, and by being that and appealing to kids and adults, I think it can be the perfect movie given the right circumstances. So conceptually great, looks fine, nothing blowing you out of the water, and nothing that's going to make you rush out and go watch it. But if you have 100 minutes to burn and you really just want to watch something that everyone can sit and enjoy, Dora may very well be that thing. But whether you watch it or not, I hope that you take the time to watch the other videos that are available on this channel. The Everyman Movie Review just hit 1 year, so we've had tons of content, but there's even more than just the reviews available on this channel. Make sure you check out some of that. We are doing 2 episodes a week, so new episodes are coming fast and furious, but not Fast and Furious, because that got pushed to 2022. But if you're looking for something more often, I do a daily podcast called Rob Explains, where I talk about weird, random, and interesting things. It's available every day at anchor.fm or wherever you get your podcast. And all of those episodes will be put up as a week-long summary every week on YouTube as well. So thank you for joining me for this episode. If you think I missed the mark, or if you have a comment or a question, you can put it down in the comments or below. Make sure you have a like and you subscribe so you don't miss new episodes. And if I have missed a movie, then something new out that you think that, hey, this would be a great review, let me know. That's a great way to reach out and to have brand new content on the channel. But until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great week, everybody.